Punch newspaper. On the Punch newspaper, the leading story there says local governments poll ballot snatching will trigger by election, says last year. No one can chase us out of Plateau. It's our state too. Fulani youth leader vows.
Hello, good people of Ekiti State and its environment. For your private, political, family, or club meetings, and so on, of not more than 50 to 100 participants, we introduce to you Adamimogo Event Hall. Yes, right at Olojudo's Palace, Adamimogo 107.7 FM's compound, Ido Ekiti. Ample parking space, good security, clean environment. You also have the opportunity to book for a media publicity of your event on our fast-growing social media platforms. All these for a talking. Simply visit us at Olojudo's Palace, Ido Ekiti, or call the following numbers for more inquiries: 0803 526 5812 or 0916 340 0878 or 0806 511 4430. You can also call 0806 380 8891. Adamimogo Event Hall. We are waiting for your patronage.
Welcome back. In case you are just joining the program this morning, you are listening to the Daily Dose on Adamimogo 107.7 FM. We've read out our headlines from the Punch newspaper to the Vanguard and the Daily Post newspaper. Now we'll be getting into the details of those headlines this morning. Good morning once again. We'll start from the Punch newspaper. The leading story there says local government poll ballot snatching will trigger by election, says LASIEC. The Lagos State Independent Electoral Commission has declared that any incident of ballot box snatching during Saturday's local government election will result in a by-election in the affected area. The commission made this known during a press briefing on Thursday, where its chairman, Justice Bola Okikiolu, assured residents of LASIEC's readiness to deliver a free, fair and credible poll across the 57 local councils in the state. There will be by-elections if a ballot box is snatched away. That is according to her, while answering questions from journalists at Triple Center, Event Center, Sabo Yaba, Lagos. The LASEC boss also said, and I quote, "Why we don't pray for such to happen, there won't be a need to conduct a by-election in any local government, any local council where such happened." Answering questions from reporters at the briefing, the commission said there was no threat to postpone the election in any way. The LASEC boss assured Lagos residents of the readiness of the commission to conduct a free, fair and transparent election across the 57 local councils in the state. Details of that story is on the Punch newspaper this morning. Local governments poll ballot snatching will trigger by election, says United Front to bridge Nigeria's skills gap. Vice President Kashim Shettima on Thursday called for immediate and united action to close Nigeria's widening skills gap, describing it as a national priority critical to economic transformation. This is just as the federal government has hinted at a proposal for the review of existing skills training centers across several ministries, departments and agencies of government to align their work and functions with national development goals. What binds us together supersedes whatever divides us. We have to make this country work. We need to fill in the skills gap. That is according to Shettima during the 6th meeting of the National Council on Skills and the Presidential Villa, Abuja. He noted that the council's mandate is to develop a strategic workforce capable of meeting Nigeria's evolving economic demands. Senior Special Assistant to the Vice President on Information and Strategy, Stanley Nkocha, disclosed this in a statement titled Federal Government Plans Nationwide Audit to Skills Centers to Transform Workforce. Shettima pointed out that the Council has a mission of strategically position Nigeria's workforce to meet the demands of a rapidly evolving economy. That story is on the Punch newspaper. Shettima urges United Front to bridge Nigeria's skills gap. You can get details of the story on the Punch. ADC not threat to PDP in Bauchi. That is from the party chieftain. A chieftain of the People's Democratic Party, Bala Chiroma, has allayed the fears of his party's supporters that the new party coalition of the African Democratic Congress won't be a threat to the ruling PDP in the 2027 election in Bauchi State. In an exclusive interview with journalists in Bauchi, Shiroma, who is equally the senior special assistant on youth to Governor Bala Mohammed, said ADC can never be a threat to PDP in Bauchi or even in Nigeria. According to him, and I quote, ADC is not a party like its counterpart, the All Progressives Congress. It is just like a union or association, as the name implies, an alliance of political parties, but not a party like the People's Democratic Party with its complete structures in all the 774 local government area councils. Only PDP has existed since its creation in 1998 and has never changed its name or allied with any political party. The quote is the long one on the Punch newspaper. You can find out the details from the Punch this morning. ADC not threat to PDP in Bauchi, party chieftain. And the last story we take on the Punch newspaper this morning: autonomy standoff. Government gets 4.5 trillion naira local government funds 1 year after Supreme Court ruling. Exactly 1 year after the Supreme Court granted full autonomy to the 774 local government areas, the federal government has continued to channel allocations through state governments. An analysis by the Punch shows that state governors retained control of council allocations totaling 4.5 trillion naira, defying the landmark judgment that mandated direct funding to local governments. On July 11, 2024, the Apex Court ruled that local government must receive the allocations directly from the federation account, describing the long-standing practice of routing the funds through state government as unconstitutional. In response, the federal government constituted an interagency panel to oversee the implementation of the ruling and directed the Central Bank of Nigeria to open individual accounts for each of the 774 local government councils across the country to facilitate direct disbursement. However, 1 year after the judgment, findings by the Punch show that the process remains largely unimplemented. Local government allocations have continued to pass through state governments amid delays and disputes between the central bank, state government, local government authorities, and other relevant agencies. Oh, it's a long one on the Punch newspaper. You can get details of that there. Autonomy standoff. Governors get 4.5 trillion naira local government funds 1 year after Supreme Court ruling. All right, the studio lines to call to be part of the program this morning is 0704 700 7701, 0707 276 6278. I will take that again. 0704 700 7701 or 0707 276 6278. From the Vanguard newspaper, 2027 ADC will dislodge Tinubu APC. That is from Aregbe Shola. Interim Secretary of African Democratic Congress ADC and former Minister of Interior Ogbeni Raf Aregbesola yesterday declared that the party would trust President Bola Tinubu and the All Progressives Congress APC, just as he urged party members to put aside their personal interests, differences, and work towards its success during the 2027 general elections. Aregbe Shola was an ally of President Tinubu. This came as the interim leadership of the ADC reassured state chairman of the inclusion in the ongoing coalition building process. Meanwhile, the convener of Nigeria's shadow government, Professor Pat Utomi, yesterday threw his weight behind a coalition of opposition political parties in its bid to oust President Tinubu in 2027. Aregbesola spoke at a stakeholders meeting with party members in Akure the Ondo State capital. According to him, the current administration will be dislodged if members of the ADC were united. The former governor of Osun State said that with significant support for the party from prominent politicians, the APC can be defeated. His words, and I quote, the ADC has garnered significant support from prominent opposition figures, including former Vice President Atiku Abubakar and local and Labour Party's Peter Obi, who are backing the party as a coalition movement platform aimed at challenging President Bola Tinubu in the next election. Let us work together, let us put personal interests aside, and let's get united. It is that unity we want. We should remember that we have many elections ahead. We have the presidential, the National Assembly, and the State Assembly election. We still have time, but with a big tax, if we unite, we won't be defeated in the elections. Unity is very paramount in this situation. So the story is on the Vanguard newspaper this morning. 2027 ADC will dislodge Tinubu APC. That is from Aregbesola. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to you, sir.
This comrade Kende Jima, aka Golden Prince of Africa.
Good to hear your voice again, sir.
Pertaining to that local government autonomy, I mean, the local government needs to give a chance to rule, to know their impact in their local government. Because how can somebody be a chairman of local government that cannot do anything picture that the people can see? They're supposed to have local government road realization or local government road maintenance agency. Pertaining to the Aregbesola, well, Almighty God must settle the problem within him and Tinubu. But I just want him to see Tinubu and settle the matter. Nobody perfect. We are.
Oh, sorry, I think we lost that. Thank you very much, sir. Thanks for your contribution this morning on the program. And from the Vanguard newspaper, there's a story there. It says, if not for Tinubu, Buhari wouldn't have won APC primary. That is from the presidency. The senior special assistant to the president on media and publicity, Temitope Ajayi, has stated that former President Muhammadu Buhari would not have secured the All Progressives Congress (APC) presidential ticket without the pivotal support of President Bola Tinubu. Ajayi's remarks follow comments made by the immediate press secretary to the government of the Federation SGF, Boss Mustafa, during a book launch authored by Malam Gabasheu, former senior special assistant to President Buhari on media and publicity. Hello, good morning.
Yes, once come again for the comrade. I want the APC ruling in Nigeria to ensure they deliver the dividend of democracy to their people. And I plead to all these coalitions to kindly meet Tinubu and discuss with him how they will move Nigeria forward. And I'm appealing to INEC to be independent, to get a credible election. This is all what I have. And the primary law must judge Mofeki àwọn INEC kó jẹ́ pé 3 months before the time of election, so they have to be in a ruling. So we will have credible election. Kudos to this governor of this state, Toyebanji. I so much thank you for
all right,
the
sir.
achievement.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much for your contribution. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to you.
My name is Eda Yona Oludare. I'm calling from the Geneji local government area.
Welcome to the show.
I want to comment on this autonomy being granted to the local government. The implementation is being thwarted by the governor, which to me is not a very good one. How can Supreme Court give verdict, give judgment on local government autonomy? And state government for over a year, they have not even implemented. They don't allow this local government to enjoy what is due to them from the federation account. This is not good. Then who are we going to hold responsible? The local government will be shifting blames now. The local government areas, they are now battling with problems of different types of problems in developmental areas. Nobody is taking responsibility. Who is going to pay this Supreme Court ruling when the governors, they are the ones thwarting it? That is my submission. Again, I want to talk about this Aregbesola and Tinubu. We have to be very careful so that this type of thing, so that the problem will not escalate like a 1966 era. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Thanks for your contribution. And the last story we take on the program this morning is from the Daily Post newspaper. Nakon begins preparation for 2026 Hajj. The National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, NACON, has commenced preparations for the 2026 Hajj exercise shortly after the conclusion of the 2025 pilgrimage. Chief Executive Officer of the Commission, Professor Abdullahi Saleh Usman, disclosed this while addressing journalists in Kano on Thursday, shortly after returning from Saudi Arabia. Professor Usman acknowledged the positive feedback received from pilgrims and key stakeholders, including members of the National Assembly Committees on Foreign Affairs and Hajj Affairs, as a testament of a successful 2025 Hajj exercise. According to the NACON boss, and I quote, "We have learned a lot from this year's Hajj. We intend to deliver a better and more efficient operation in 2026. End of quote. Professor Usman urged intending pilgrims to commence early registration, noting that Saudi Arabian authorities have set a tight timeline to conclude all logistical arrangements for the 2026 pilgrimage. And that's where we'll draw the curtain on the program this morning. Thanks for joining us on this journey through headlines. Until next time, stay informed, stay engaged, and keep on reading. I'm Ayomide Surulere. Many thanks for listening.